Hey there, everyone. So we are just going to go live right now because Facebook requires that you go live. Can you hear us now?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect timing. I had to go live because Facebook, so these stream to Facebook too, and they don't let you be late by more than a few minutes. So I just hit live. We're live now.
All right.
So I'm Adam, the tent guy, and this is Adam Opper. How you doing, Adam?
How's it going?
It's going good here. So some people put your name in the comments to be on, so you're on. So I honestly don't know that much about you. I did my research earlier. You know, you got sailcloth tents, you do stages, you do basically event rental stuff.
Yeah.
And some of it on a large scale, right?
We're probably like a medium-sized rental company. We really worked hard at projecting ourselves as something that has everything for our customers. We don't really have everything, but we've been really working hard at that. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
So why don't you just give like a quick background of who you are, how you got in this, what you do?
Sure. I was in high school and worked for a rental company, worked the whole time, thought it was fun, thought it was good, went on with my life. Then was about to get married. I actually asked my wife to marry me. And one thing that she kind of wanted was like a tent outside and all the lights and some pretty cool stuff. So I was like, why don't I just buy one? I have a lot of friends and we could always use these tents. So I bought one, and it was never wanted to start a rental company. Was never even thinking about it, and just kind of birthed from that. People just kept on asking me for tents and chairs, and I kept doing it, and it's kind of grown into what it is today. And that was maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. So it's pretty crazy.
Where are you located, Adam O?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, cool. So like, what does your company kind of like, what is your lane? We've
definitely gone through some transitions. We were started like a normal rental company, mainly doing graduations and small weddings. And really it was my wife who really kind of changed the direction of our tent business. She's loves like, and it was you too, actually, by watching your vintage rental video about getting to vintage rentals. That really kind of changed our perspective. And man, we're doing a lot of vintage rentals, moving into that, a lot of decor stuff. We're really focusing on everything underneath the tents. And that's been really good for us. We've been really doing some neat stuff with that. So
yeah, I saw on your website the vintage part, and as you know, I can just picture you just like me going to an estate sale and thrift stores and buying each piece, 10 at a time and whatever.
Yeah, it was that. When I saw the video, I was like, I don't know, like, do those things really rent? And my wife's like, yes. I was like, we absolutely have to do this. So we started doing it. It's taken off like crazy. Now it's very hard in our area to find stuff from thrift stores because everybody buys it. It's been.
Yeah. So I was buying them in the middle of winter one time. And then I got all my 200, 250 of each piece. And then when, there was a party for 300, I needed to go find 50 salad plates. I couldn't find them anymore because every single wedding planner was buying them up as well. It got hard. But Rainey wants to ask, is this your full-time job?
It is not my full-time. Well, it was about to be our full-time job. And the pandemic happened. Our sales were really good. And I told Jenna, my wife, I said, I think this is the year. Let's stop reinvesting into the business. Let's just do this as our full-time career, because we're making enough money to do so. Then pandemic hit and everything went south. So yeah.
Right. Now, I saw you have sailcloth tents. Do your sailcloth tents go out like consistently all the time?
We do not own sailcloth tents. We are actually promoting them, that we have them. And then if we needed one or somebody wanted one, we could then sub-rent from another company. It's something that we were literally just about to purchase. And then pandemic happened and we were out. So we're doing very the same thing as like what you were doing with putting things online, getting pre-orders, and then using that money to purchase items.
Right, exactly. So for anyone who hasn't seen me talk about that, basically I'll put items on my website as a test. And if there's enough demand for it, then I know it's going to be a good investment. If, it's going to be part of a larger wedding where I'm going to be making a lot of money with my tables and chairs, and they need a sailcloth tent that I have on my website or something, I'll sub-rent it, just like you're doing. But
Yeah.
It looks like you're offering it.
Yes, and that was our purpose. When we first started doing graduation tents and stuff, everybody's telling me we had to have a website, we had to have a website, had to have a website. And my thought process, I don't want to have a website until I can offer and at least look like everybody else in my area. I wanted to be able to come out of the gate strong, like, who are these guys? Let's start renting from them. And that actually has been very successful for us. And so, like, we have some rentals for those tents, and then we will sub-rent them out. But now we have enough rentals to make sense for us to actually purchase the tent ourselves. So
Right. That's awesome. All right. We got a quick question. I don't think I've seen these, but do you rent inflatables?
we used to. We actually used to rent inflatables. But as we were growing and people were renting them, honestly, I got rid of them just for my fear. I just kept thinking, some little kid's going to break his neck, I'm going to get sued, and we're going to be all over the news. And I was like, no, thanks. So I actually still own quite a few. I'm getting rid of them, though. So.
Okay, so inflatable people, you want to buy some? He might be selling.
Yeah, I have a bunch of them. So
all right, I don't know if you're comfortable answering this one. What's the name of your business?
I don't think anybody's gonna. It's Party Right Rentals.
All right, so if you're watching this, Party Right Rentals, just go on like you're a customer and go leave him a Google review saying he did really good and stuff. Just give him some support. I do that a lot. Like when people say, like, in the Facebook groups, people say, like, oh, this customer left me a bad review. I go on their Facebook page or Google thing and leave a review as a customer, just to, like, maybe negate that last one that they just got.
Yes, that's super helpful. I think I actually did that for you once.
Yeah, I think I did it for you too.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I screw these people. Like, the reviews, it's always the people who just, like, you piss off a little bit and you're bound to. It's, like, really hard to get the people who do the good reviews.
We had one bad. We've pretty much all good reviews. One bad review is a fake person. I've been trying to get a hold of them and never been able to get that erased. Which I tried calling Google, but they wouldn't take it off. And then I had one legitimate review that was bad. It's because we were late for an event, but we worked it out with the venue, and they were like, "Sorry." Right. They never told the bride. It was horrible.
That happens. No, none of us are trying to get bad reviews. Just things happen,
Yeah, definitely.
So before we jumped on, there was a few questions submitted. Where'd they go? I copy pasted it from the Facebook group. Who do you buy your resin chairs from, and why?
We buy them from, I would say it's our closest local person, Tent and Table.
Okay.
Really, really like working with them. I've had our white chairs for about 5 years. They've held up. They've been good. Probably now, if I was to rebuy them, I'd probably go with Schneider, just because I've heard really good reviews, and they have a whiter white, and that's kind of clientele that we're starting to get, is people who want that perfect thing. So
right. Yeah, so I buy from Palmer Snyder. It's who I bought from in the beginning, because when I worked for a tent company, that's what they had. And so when I bought my own, I was like, well, I only know of one company. But it turned out to be that you're exactly right. They are the whiter white. Mm-hmm. I've had some ones. I never had Tent and Table, but I had some from PRE Styles. And they look white when they're by themselves or all together. But if you put their white next to a Palmer Snyder white, that one's gray. Palmer Snyder's super white. And the Tent and Table, like I said, I haven't had Tent and Table, but the Palmer Snyder is, like, very, very smooth, and you can wash it really easy with a magic eraser.
Yeah, Tent and Table is not exactly like that. I think they're great chairs. I think they're really good. If our focus was going to be backyard weddings and graduation parties, I wouldn't have a problem getting the white chairs. But our clients are starting to get a little bit more. We're starting to become more particular about what we're doing and how we're getting our customers. So.
Right. Greg has Tent and Table as well. All right. This is kind of, have you ever bought some chairs and spray painted them? That's basically what the question is, like some used chairs and spray painted them.
As far as, like, the white chairs, no.
Not the white resin, but maybe white metal or something.
Just in general, no. But we were actually just about to buy 150. They were like infinity chairs that another company that was local painted them white, and we actually really liked it. So we were going to buy those. I think chairs like that is great, because if someone gets a nick or scratch on it. It just looks like a vintage chair. It looks great and people love it. And I love chairs like that. Love it. Less work.
I have spray painted white chairs before, but not like I didn't buy them used. It's just, as time goes on, I would spray paint a little bit here. If there was a really bad thing on a seat that I couldn't get rid of, I would use white spray paint the whole seat, and it looked brand new.
Chivari chairs all the time.
Yeah, Chivari chairs. If you have wooden Chivari chairs, you're going to be spray painting them all the time.
All the time, constantly.
Yeah, if anyone out there is looking to get in a Chivari, unless it's natural wood or fruit wood or walnut, if you're just going gold, white, black, silver, get resin. Then you don't have to paint them as much. But Randy's got a question.
Hey, Randy.
What is one of the best rental products that you own? What is an item that you will be buying?
Best rental product that I own, and I absolutely love it. It is the probably the key foundation to making money in this business was we bought these old wooden chairs at the reception hall where we had our wedding. It was at a Masonic hall, and they had 1,000 old wooden chairs. And my wife was like, "Those chairs are awesome." I'm like, "They're old junky chairs," and she's like, "No, you got to get them." So I went back and I said, "Hey, how much can I buy these chairs for?" And there's like, "You want to buy these chairs?" I said, "Yeah." And they're like, "How much?" There's like $2. I was like, "Oh, how many can I buy? Whatever you want." I was like, "Okay, I'll buy like 300 of them." So I did. And the price skyrocketed on those rental chairs, and it was great. Now we're getting like $3 for those chairs. You don't have to wash them, you don't have to clean them, don't do anything to them. They just keep renting out. We sell out all the time. Love it. Love it.
The rent out is basically like rustic chairs.
Yeah, rustic chairs. They continually always sell out of those. They are the best chairs. I'm always looking for them. Always buying more. They're great.
That was lucky. Are you still paying $2 a chair for them when you find more?
No. No. Every once in a while I'll find. Actually, I went back to that same place that I bought them and said, "Hey, can I buy some more chairs?" And they're like, "Sure. Why do you want them?" Like, I just use them for parties and stuff. And they're like, "Okay, $2." And I got it one more time. The third time, they're like, "I think these are worth some money." I was like, "Oh no." So.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good one. And what product are you? He didn't ask this, but like, what is something that you bought that you're just like, that was bad. Let's just get rid of this.
A bad product. I had a couple. I wouldn't say bad, just not for our market. Right. I'd probably say there's a couple products that are maybe like just not for, or things that we're transitioning out of. I'm trying to think of like, I can't think of anything at the moment, but right. I'll think of something, come back to it.
For me, it was sailcloth tent. I bought a sailcloth tent thinking, because it was the trend. Yeah. And then it just wasn't my area. Just no one wanted it. So
I think knowing your area, I think that's knowing your client, knowing who your client is. We made a huge transition over the past couple, like maybe about a year and a half, especially during COVID, is moving away from graduation parties and some small backyard weddings and trying to move into more of an upscale. We just, it's very hard to get employees. Good one.
That's going to be the next question that comes up.
Yeah, it's super hard to find them. And when you get them, they're not always great. And you have to train them. Then by the time you train them, they go and they leave. And it's been a huge issue for me.
All right. Well, that leads right into this. Any problems keeping seasonal help? What do you do to recruit?
It is super hard. So we actually changed our focus. As I was thinking, I was like, we could either rent out a bunch of stuff all the time and run around with our chickens, like chickens, or we can specialize in something that it costs more to rent, has less renters, but also has a lot less employees handling stuff. So we've been really looking at things that are going to make a good deal of money, but with less employee handling. And that is actually, I had our conversation with our accountant the other day, and he said your expenses to profit is skyrocketed over the past year and a half, and that's been our goal. Now we have better employees. We're able to pay them more, which is, I think, is a big thing. And they like their job. We're not running around going crazy, going from one tent job to the next. We have less tent jobs, but we're just making more money, which is
right. And that's a good thing. A lot of times people think they just got to buy more and more stuff and get more and more rentals out.
It's addictive to buy more stuff.
It is, but
Yeah.
you could, raise your prices 10%. You may lose 10% customers, but you're still doing the same amount of revenue with less work, and also just focus on the higher end things. Like, sorry, bounce house guys that are watching this, but bounce house is a hustle. Bounce house, you just have to get out so many all the time, and you're constantly competing on price with everyone because so many people are weekend warriors. Probably not parts of these groups, but and you can't ever really focus on those huge items that are going to be like $5,000 just for that one thing or whatever, whereas in the wedding business, you can get a luxury restroom trailer rented out for $3,000 if it's really, really high end, and make a lot of money for 15 minutes worth of work. You don't always have to just keep buying to make more money.
I agree with you. Restroom trailer is definitely something we want to get. That's on the market there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're already doing a wedding, and I saw your tent, so you got 40 wides, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so you're doing a 40 wide wedding, 200 people, and they need to go pee somewhere.
Yeah, Porta Johns, I don't think for weddings, I don't think they're ever coming back. That's just my certain areas, certain places, but for weddings, I don't see them ever. No way. Right. That's just me. But
I got to write this down. Video idea. I've ran out of video ideas. Kinda. It's winter too, so I'm gonna do it. That's a good idea. Employee recruiting. So to answer, how do you recruit people?
I actually get a lot of people from my church. They're just good people, and they're willing to work, and so that's where I get actually a lot of people from, or people that are working with us and they know someone who's good. They come on and they help out. So it's been a huge place for us. So
the second one is how I got everyone. Like, friends were working, and then friends' younger brothers were working, and then those younger brothers knew someone, and then the next year that kid knew someone, and then the next year that kid knew someone. That's how we've done it. The 2 times I've done it off of like Facebook job sites or whatever, like, those guys were just horrible drunks, always late, just messes of people.
It's hard to recruit sometimes because you're like, they're like, well, what's the job? Well, we're putting up tents. They're like circus tents. Like, no, not so. It's really hard to explain that. They're thinking they're like huge heavy metal poles. It's like, no, we have machinery.
Right. And then people also want to know, like, what are the hours? You can give them the beginning hours, but you can't give them the ending hours.
Never. Yeah, there's a local place by us, Able Rentals, great company, great people. They're my Facebook friends, and they a couple of years ago they talked about how they were just getting burnt out. They're working 7 days a week, going crazy, and they're like, we got to change this. So they actually have started to become more of a not 9 to 5, but they've been really, really working hard on. They said it was hard to get there, but they're finally getting there. I think that was pretty cool.
Right. That leads into something, because someone had mentioned it to me, and I made a video of it the other day. Well, do you just answer phone calls in the middle of the night at like 8 o'clock? Do you answer phone calls on the weekend, or have you made it so like, you have a voicemail with your hours? We'll get back to you tomorrow morning, kind of thing, or?
We actually use a system because, people in an office just doesn't work out so well. People are at home. You're able to get some employees that are moms or people who just want to help out brides or whatever. And they want to do it from home. So we actually have a telephone service, and they can call our number, and then it just reroutes them to one of our helpers. And then they can help wherever they're at, which really makes extremely big help. But we do have normal hours, like 9 to 5 type phone call hours, which,
right.
It's personal life is important. And so.
Right. So that's interesting. So are these people like hired through a third party company?
No, like I will recruit them. They, say it's even a wedding planners. Wedding planners are great people who they're already doing the job. They already know it. And then if they know your products, they'll rent from they'll rent from you as well. So they'll help out brides. They'll make invoices and work with people. So a lot of our stuff, 90% of our business is actually emailing and like the initial phone call. And then after that, everything is on email or texts.
Right. So what rental program are you using?
That program is just you can actually buy a phone number that reroutes everybody. It's like,
right. But I mean, to book your things and keep track of your inventory, like,
we have a very, very archaic system called Joist. It is like it's horrible, but where we were when we first started, it helped us out a lot, and it's free.
Right.
And now we're having to move into the next system, but again, with COVID, once it happened, we're like, oh, we're putting a brakes on everything, keeping everything as status quo as possible. So,
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got a question, which I think I saw it on your website. What is your opinion on foam machines?
On foam machines?
Yeah.
Oh man, back in college, it was great.
Okay, but you don't rent them, right?
No.
So I saw on your site, I saw the decor stuff. I saw Randy. I'll ask Randy a question in this as well. But you had wine bottles, you had on the vintage plates and things like that. Do you do whiskey wine barrels?
Yes.
And things like that. And also, because you're doing some more of the decor, do you get into floral rentals?
So the wine barrels, absolutely. Got into that just a short time ago, maybe last year, and they rent really, really well. They rent well as bars. You put a top on it, very cheap. We are lucky to have some local wineries. Some of them all of our friends, so we're able to pick them up pretty cheap. But they're great. Here's a good tip. You can go to Home Depot and get it's a stain, but it's an oil. It's a Winco. Put it on there. It's like waterproof. When you get a spot on it, you just put it on there. I can't think of what it's called. It's an oil. If I think about it, it's absolutely fantastic.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I saw on your website. I don't know if they're your actual pictures, but I did see on your website like wine barrels outside with poles and lights, no tent.
Yes. Yeah. You can do that. There are so many. You put poles up, lights. People use them as high top tables. There are tons of uses for the cake tables. I mean,
2 wine barrels before the ceremony aisle. Yeah, like I said, bars, cake tables, cocktail tables, just decorations. Put flowers on them. I don't know. They go out crazy. Like when I first got them, I was like, I don't know if these are gonna go out, and they just go out all the time.
I'm surprised. We had an order. It was about, I don't know, like $500 or $600 in barrels. I'm like, wow, that's great.
I know, it's crazy. Actually, Palmer Snyder caught on to this trend, and they started buying wine barrels and cutting them in half and putting a metal piece on them so that, because wine barrels take up a lot of room in a truck. So all these, you could stack 4 wine barrels in the same amount of space that you used to be able to only do one with one on top of it. And then you just take them apart and flip them over to make complete wine barrels.
Yeah, or flour or ice chests, or you can do a whole bunch of things with that. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. P Orchard, what about those chairs from IKEA? Are they any good? I'm going to say no. I have no idea what you're talking about, but they're not made for the rental industry. They're not made to be moved around every single week, and they're not made to take up a little bit of space. Even if they are folding ones, they're not the kind of folding ones that like stack together 50 high in a little small area. You can message me the chairs and I'll tell you, but based on you just saying IKEA, I'm going to say don't get those for rental.
Yeah, probably not. You were talking about flowers before.
Oh yeah.
We don't rent real flowers, but what we've started to do some test piloting of a good quality
fake ones.
Go ahead.
Fake ones?
Yeah, good quality fake ones and nice arranged ones that you kind of go, are those real? Those. We're starting to test those out and see how those work. So
I mean, you could turn an arch rental from however much you charge for an arch to maybe double that with some fake flowers. Let's see. What was I going to say? Oh, I have an answer for this one too. But do you allow headphones on job sites, like your employees wearing headphones while they're working?
I haven't really had an issue with it. There's one of our employees who I worked with quite a bit. He'll have like maybe one in one part of his ear, but that doesn't bother me. But if I call your name and you can't respond, there's a problem. So
I handle it by being friends with all of them. They want to hang out. We're not really working. We're hanging out, making fun of each other. Looking at the hot bridesmaid that's over there, I don't know. We're making fun of each other. I'm trying to like throw things at them. I don't know. So no one's wearing headphones just because we're all friends. And I try to be friends with someone who comes in first day. Like, here's a trick. You get an employee that's a friend of a friend. Send them a picture of you just say, hey, this is our dress code. And then just send them a guy in like a bikini top and a bikini bottom and be like, this is what you're going to wear Monday. And
Okay.
then obviously they're not going to do that, but they come in being like, oh, okay, so this is that kind of place. Everyone's kind of cool here. But all right, let's see. As a brand new company wanting to someday compete with the big dogs in the area, do we need to be new or innovative, or just be great with people, have a great product service, and be 100% reliable? Go ahead.
I think that is an absolutely fantastic question. And one of the, because we're actually moving in, we didn't want to start our website until we felt that we could at least emulate or an average person going and saying, oh, they're just as big as anybody else around the area. I think that if you're breaking into a good market, finding things that are different or unusual, but also have some of the standards, white padded chairs, basic chairs. Also knowing your customer. Like, our customer has completely changed from when we first started. Most of our business when we first started was Facebook. We had tons of Facebook people always asking if we could, change your pricing or whatever for them. And we built a whole business based on that. And then we wanted to reach a different client. And when we started changing everything around, we lost. Like, our phone stopped ringing for quite a while until we changed our image and changed who we were. And then pretty soon we started getting those clients because we started advertising what they were wanting. So I think that, you could start a business, like Adam has said in one of his videos earlier, with nothing. And that's when we first started. We just had a tent. We didn't even have tables and chairs. I rented that thing out all the time, and people would bring in their own chairs. And pretty soon, people would ask us for round tables, and all we had were longs. And we'd say, "Why would you want a round table? Long tables are the best table in the whole wide world. Let me tell you why a long table is better than a round." And then pretty soon we bought a round, and we're like, those were more expensive. We're like, "Well, why would you want a long table?"
Right.
So, but in our area, there's a business that just started that all they did was just get colored glass. And now that's all they rent is just colored glass. They have pinks and reds and blues, and that's
glassware, like wine glasses and
glass. And then also like depression glass is starting to become popular. You're starting to see like depression glass was made in like the 1930s, 1940s, and it's at Goodwill's all the time. You get them for $1, and they rent for, in my area, $2-3 a piece. It's a fantastic thing. There's some businesses that are just starting doing that.
So it's like this. It's like vintage rentals, but like one step higher.
Yeah. Or they buy dressers, and they rent dressers. People.
Oh yeah. There's a few companies that only do that. Literally dressers and couches and all vintage stuff, and they just have a warehouse full of it, and they just focus in on that.
And they charge a ton for it. I think that's great. I think it's great that you can buy something for less and rent it for more than what you bought it for. I think that's
exactly. So I'm going to answer a little bit too. Like you said, if you're in a big market, yes, you kind of need to be innovative and get like the fancier things. But if you're just in a normal market, what's more important is that when someone calls, you can answer within the hour. When someone emails, you can answer. The biggest thing I got people saying is like, I called all these other companies, and you're the only one who answered or who got back to me quick. Or there's this really big company near me, and they take 2 weeks to get a quote back. It's like, it's just a few buttons on the computer. Like, it should be out in 15 minutes. So the main thing is having a great product and service. And as you want to get into bigger revenues, then you're going to need sailcloth tents, clear tents, double-decker tents, fancier chairs and stuff. But it all comes down to the customer service first and foremost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Even if you've got the fancy things, you still got to have the service, or otherwise no one's going to use you.
I can't tell you how many people we have gotten comments for, because we do just that. We try to get back to them as fast as possible, answer the question quickly, and there's so many of the larger companies that they just don't respond. It takes a week. It takes, I'm surprised. I've had my wife make phone calls to other companies to get just pricing.
Right.
It takes them days to get back.
Right. And they have a $10,000 computer system that should be able to, within 15 minutes, build a quote.
Yeah. You're like, haven't you done this before? It's like, why can't you get back? So, but yeah.
Jordan just has someone had it. It was Jordan. This is long, but we'll just get back to it. to the end. Do you use tent heaters at all?
Yes.
Okay. What brand do you have?
The LB Whites.
LB White. How are you feeling with LB White nowadays?
Don't like them.
Exactly.
They used to be good, but I feel like I'm always having problems with them.
I'm always having a problem with LB Whites. My friend, I think he owns like 50 LB Whites, 50 to 100. He sold all of them and he bought Heat Star. So everyone who wants to get into tent heating, check out Heat Star. I hear it's a lot better. That's the next one I'm going to buy.
I have been hearing good things about Heat Star. Yeah, the LB White, I heard a couple other comments because I'm not a technical guy. I'm not pulling them apart and trying to see what's wrong, but I've heard a lot of people say that they've just put so many safety things and stops on it that they just keep shutting off. That's just what I've been hearing.
That's the worst thing on a Saturday. Someone calls and is like, the heater's not working, and it's like, fuck.
And it ends up costing more money to keep having guys out there servicing them to fix them than it is to rent it.
Right.
It drives me nuts. It drives me insane.
Yeah, LB White used to be the premier thing, but I'm just seeing so much, and I'm feeling it too. I just not happy with it anymore. So, Jordan, check out Heat Star. But this is a relevant question to you because you changed your clientele. Did you have to change how you marketed yourself?
Yes, because we were forced to, because our Facebook was a huge. We were constantly getting Facebook messages all the time, and then it just stopped, and we're like, okay, how are we supposed to get these people now? And that took a little bit different. We had to search out. We started Instagram, which was something. I didn't think it was going to do much. Again, my wife, she's like, we have to have one then. So she started doing that. She started promoting it, and that has been really huge. We have grown quite a bit just by Instagram. We started doing a lot of photo shoots, styled shoots with other vendors, different people. They talk about us, and we were always trying to make sure that we're taking pictures with people that are getting the clients that we're wanting, so they were all kind of matched correctly. So that if you have a wedding planner who doesn't do high-end weddings and she has your stuff in it, her clients don't want that, so they're not going to want to pay for it. So
right.
So you have to try to find people who match what you're trying for, and I think that helped us out. That actually helped us out quite a bit.
And Randy has a follow-up to that. Are you doing any paid ads on Facebook?
We were doing paid ads on Google.
Google.
We're doing the Google ads. That helped us out a little bit, but I think that after you do it for a while and you start having mentions everywhere, you just kind of start going up the list anyways.
Yeah.
So we actually have stopped, and we haven't seen any difference in traffic flow.
Right. Yeah. At most, I pay maybe $30 a month in like August and usually way below that for Google AdWords.
Yeah.
But yeah, after you're on there for so long, it's just a natural thing. You just get it.
We actually did well for a while on the Knot, which I've heard a lot of companies say the rental companies say they don't do well on the Knot. We actually did, but we kind of felt that we started advertising the thing that we knew the people were looking for, and those wood chairs that I had that everybody wanted. We put a picture on that and said, what was it, $3.50 chair or $2.50 chair, and people were constantly writing about us, and people were looking at that chair as a lead, and then they would rent other stuff, and a lot of times not even rent the chair from us, but that helped a bit.
Cool. I had a question lined up, but okay. Here we go. We'll just go with this. Do you let people? I already know the answer to this. Do you let people order on your website? And we'll get into the differences between when you can and when you can't. But do you let people order on your website?
No, we do not.
Mainly
because I just think, like, scheduling wise, trying to order a tent on the website, and there's so many things that clients don't know. They're not doing events every day, and to have that personal help, we put all of our pricing online. We felt that that's been really good. It makes us look very honest, and we are honest.
And it cuts down on people calling just to say, how much is this thing?
Yes.
And wasting a few minutes.
Especially with like the glassware that we have. Everybody wants it, but not everybody can afford it. So if you have the pricing on there, it automatically stops them. It qualifies them faster, which is good.
Right. So there is a big difference, everyone, between if you have mainly a bounce house company versus a wedding, bigger event company. You can't let brides just order what they want on the website, because they're going to order a tent 2 sizes too small. They're going to order a dance floor that is only 8 by 8. it's going to be a big mess. Like for certain kinds of companies, you have to actually listen to what they need and then send them something appropriate. Bounce house or like maybe just a graduation party is like they can order online because it's just the bounce house. So it doesn't, it's not trying to fit 200 people in the thing. It's a little different. So when you're doing like bigger events, not necessarily even a higher end, just bigger events,
Sure.
You are the professional who knows the size they need. So like you can't let them do it because then you're gonna get a bad review that they had to fit 300 people in a 20 by 40 tent, which isn't gonna happen. Justin, who I'm part of Party Rental Knowledge Facebook group, wants to know if you have subscribed to the Party Rental Knowledge Facebook group yet.
I didn't even know it existed.
Didn't know it existed. He just made it last month. It's doing pretty well.
Good.
This is actually streaming to there. So anyone who's on that Party Rental Knowledge Facebook group page, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube, you better. I don't care if you do. Any tips on hooking up with a wedding planner?
Yes. We continually find them, like photographers. You ask a photographer, say, hey, who do you really like working with? Like if you find the right photographer that's say charging where you're wanting to be at, like wedding wise, they typically work with wedding coordinators that match what you're looking for, and able to connect you and hook you up with that. Also allowing people to borrow your stuff, to do shoots, can also help out a lot if that's what you're wanting to do. If you're in the wedding stuff or even backyard graduations, if you're doing wanting to do a styled shoot for a graduation, that really brings in people, which helps out a lot. So
right. My tip for hooking up with a wedding planner is don't contact them first, because then they will feel like that they're holding all the cards. If they're eventually going to need you, maybe go like something on their page or something, from an account that is your business. But when they come in, every single wedding planner is like, you're going to get so much business from me. We're going to give you so much, and we're going to get like a big discount from you. And then most of the time, those people are gone in 2 years. So you just let the wedding planners come to you. Don't go chasing them. What you want to chase is the event venue owners, whether it's a barn or a mansion or whatever. Call them, ask them if you can meet them, bring them coffee when you show up, and then just like talk to them. Don't even like try selling anything. Just go meet them and just say what you do. And I'm pretty much the main rental guy for I got like 15 barns in my area, and I'm the main person who goes to them just because I brought them coffee and hung out with them for a little bit.
Instagram is also, you pick up a lot of wedding planners on Instagram. They see your stuff, they see what you're posting, and typically they also qualify as far as they look at your stuff and go, oh, that fits what I'm wanting.
Right.
Well, they will find you. They will find you.
They will find you. Have good pictures on your Facebook and Instagram, and they will find you. But where are you finding photographers and people wanting to use your stuff?
Instagram.
Go ahead. Instagram nowadays, yeah. I was just doing a Google search for weddings, Utica, New York, and I would just literally send an email once a month to every single person. I was mainly focusing on caterers because I was getting into dishes and ovens and fridges and stuff. So, I have this one caterer who, he might do 100,000 with me every single year. And for 6 months, I was sending, maybe even longer, I forget how long it was, but once a month, every single month, I was sending him an email saying, hey, I exist. Let me know. And then one day, the company he was using just had a really nasty tent. He called me. I couldn't help him. But from then on, I got him. And it was only because once a month, I sent him an email just saying I exist.
And all those guys, they talk. It's like rental company owners. We talk. And wedding planners, they talk. Everybody talks. If you had a bad experience, they'll definitely talk. But they know. At least in my area, everybody talks to each other in some way or form.
Yeah. When that comes back to the customer service thing and being good, like if you're good, they will talk and you will know.
Yep.
I saw a lot of frame tents on your site. This is a frame tent question. He does a lot of 20 or high peak frame tents from Tent and Table.
Love high peak.
Yeah, high peak frame tents are fast and easy.
Love them.
It's not a lot of pieces. Especially, there's some companies that sell high peaks where all the poles are in 10-foot sections. And then there's some companies that sell them with 20-foot poles. I like the 20-foot poles better.
You like 20-foot better?
Yeah. So like a 20 by 40 would be, 2020, then 2040, 2040. It's only 6 poles.
Nice.
Well, 7 because of the middle.
We have to have the truck large enough to move those poles, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, then there's only 6 legs.
That is nice.
Connecting pieces. Yeah. So all your high peaks are 10-foot spans, unless it's like a 20 by 30, then it's what, 17 or 7.5 or something, or
something like that.
Yeah. But high peak is easier no matter which way you go, whether it's 20-foot span or 15-foot span legs or a leg every 10 feet or whatever. What was the next question? Oh yeah, well, we were on the frame tents. He wants to know, because he only does high peak frame tents, what's a good first pole size tent for himself and one other guy to install?
Oh gosh, I would say 20 by 20 and 20 by 40s all day long. Those are the best.
I can set up a 20 by 30, 20 by 20, 20 by 30, 20 by 40 by myself. 30 by 40 and 30 by 60, I can set up with just 2 people. Anything bigger than that is like, you got to have more people.
Yeah. If I was going to restart a tent company, I would definitely do a 20 by 20, 20 by 40, put them together. You can do some huge, you can do 300-person weddings on a 20 by 40. You putting them all together, maybe to make a 40, 40 by 80, but it's fantastic all day long. Easy to wash too. If you're a company that just has say 20 by 40s, it's easier to wash them because you don't have a huge section to clean. It's the best. I love it.
I did see on your site that your high peak frame tents, you put them together a lot to make a larger tent.
Yes. We get requests all the time for that.
Really? And how do you gutter them, or how do you?
We have not guttered them too often because we think it looks ugly. And so I have not, the tent and table ones that we have, I've seen other companies that have better ones that can fit better connected together. If I had to do it over again, I'd get those tents, and if probably newer tents, I'd probably end up getting those as well.
Right.
The tent table, you put them together with a gutter, just doesn't look right.
Yeah, and the problem with a lot of these is a lot of the high peak frame tents is it comes down into a curve down in the middle. Mm-hmm. I don't know if yours tent and tables does that. So when you gutter it, it's really, really hard because you're going to have water coming down in the middle and on the sides. Mm-hmm. What you really need on a frame tent, any frame tent that you have, if you want to end up putting them together, it's going to cost you a little bit more money. It's called double valance. On the outside of the tent is another little flap, maybe 4 inches, and inside of that is a rope. So there's nothing inhibiting two tents coming together with a gutter. Everything's on the outside of the tent. Does that make sense?
Oh, I think that, yeah, I've seen those. Those are great.
Yeah. It costs a little more, but it allows you to put frame tents together and do a gutter that basically goes from one side to the other instead of to both sides, and there's nothing in the way or whatever.
I mean, I personally think that 20 by 20, 20 by 40s, if you have a bunch of them and you put them together, you could have a business just doing those. Just that. A good business just doing that.
Right.
I love it.
I saw some draping on your website, I think. Did you do that yourself, or is that someone else that comes in?
They did what?
Draping, like in the tent.
We do have another company that does that. We sub rent that. So she does it for us. She has her own rental company, but we just rent. She just does that. We have it and we have set pricing with her for 20 by 20s, 20 by 40s, and up. And so when we do a quote, the price doesn't change. This is what it is, and then we just give it to her. It works out great.
Whoever you are, a Facebook user, to me, draping inside of the tents is kind of like you got to choose that lane to get really good at it and to have a product and clean it and stuff. Like we tried doing it and it just never looked as good as in the pictures. It's just a bunch of dirty dudes who've been setting up a tent for 5 hours. And the last thing we want to do for 2 hours at the end of it is set up draping.
Yeah, you're sweating, you're touching it. It doesn't work out so well.
Yeah. The side pole draping is easy though. We just have butterfly clips and clip them up and then zip tie them to the bottom and super fast.
Yeah, we use like a pole, and then it's on the pole, and you just zip tie that to the structure of the tent. Works great.
My girlfriend's bringing me a beer.
Nice.
Thank you.
Bring me one, please.
He wants one.
I want one.
Someone just asked, I lost it, but what was your worst day on the job? That one's an interesting question.
Worst day on the oh boy, that was a long time ago. But we were working with a wedding planner, and she had everything. She just did everything wrong. Nice person, super nice, sweetheart person, had everything wrong and blamed everything on us. And it was a nightmare. And then it rained and it was muddy. Everything got ruined. Dance floor got everything got ruined. It was a absolutely a horrible day.
All right. Horrible day picking up. I had one recently. It wasn't my tent. I actually made a video on it. It wasn't my tent. We just had the tables and chairs under there. And a winter storm hit, and the tent was basically falling over. It was ripped in all these places. But in order to get our tables and chairs out, we had to go through this like swamp area that was mushy with snow and whatever.
Yeah.
It was horrible. But the actual like funniest worst one was I had to go up a mountain. And first of all, we had to wait an hour for this guy being like, whoa, which driveway are we supposed to go to? And this and that. He changed my contract. And this was in the beginning when I was like, yeah, you can change my contract. I just want the job. And what he changed was my thing about delivery needed to be a convenient and easily accessible location. And so we finally get up this mountain. It's only like a mile long, but it took like half hour to get up there over boulders and stuff. And he comes up to me and goes, are you Adam? I'm like, yeah. Are you Justin or whatever his name is? And he goes, yeah. And I said, well, I'm effing pissed at you. And then we just screamed at each other for 20 minutes. And then I did the job. It was very awkward.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
Yeah, but it was all right. We did the job. Everything was fine. We're getting a little long. We'll take a few more questions. But this one's interesting. I like this one. How do you fire employees?
You know, I haven't really had to fire any. I have let them go, but typically, you know, if you kind of bring them into a conversation where they know they're going to get fired, and you bring them to the point to where they make the decision to go before you fire them, typically works out pretty good. You'll be like, some things have been going very well. Do you think things have been going very well? No, you don't think things are going very well. Do you think this is the right job for you? You know, that kind of the question, it kind of leads them to go, I think I'm going to get fired. I'm like, do you think this is the right place for you? And then let them say, no, I don't think this is the right place for you. It actually saves a ton of legal stuff, and it's a much easier partnership, you know. Much
interesting.
Yeah.
I only had to fire two guys, and they were both from Facebook, job listing. One guy he was literally the dumbest guy I ever met. But he didn't have a truck, and I had to pick him up for a week until I was like, dude, I can't do this anymore. I wanted to fire him just because he sucked. But I said, you don't have a truck, I can't do this. So that one was easy. The other man, he was like a 51-year-old man who was drunk every day. Just didn't show up for 3 days. And then one day me and the office guy had to go somewhere. And we came back and he was sleeping on the couch. I'm like, what are you doing? He was, well, I'm here for my money and can't work tomorrow. I'm like, you haven't showed up in 3 days. So, and he just walked out drunkenly.
That's horrible.
To answer this real quick about the worst day this past season, yes, they did ask me for the tent. And I said no, because I don't do tents in the winter because I know what's going to happen, which is what happened.
Horrible.
Worth it.
Horrible to do tents. It takes everything way too long to do the tents in the winter.
Way too long, and you got a high probability of your vinyl cracking or ripping.
Yeah, even just sweating from temperature changing, and it gets moisture and wet on it. It's just no good.
This one's an interesting question, which my rental program doesn't do much of this, but a lot of rental programs do. Are you guys utilizing business automations to handle certain tasks like auto follow-up emails, invoicing, post-event thank yous, filtering good reviews to social media pages?
We don't have that. We just don't have it. So I can't really answer to that.
Right.
I've used programs that are like that in other areas of business, but they're good. But.
So I made a decision with my rental program where I just want to buy the rental program instead of pay for it every month. But the bigger ones that you pay for every month, they have this, and it is nice. Like if you send out a quote, you can set an automated thing for 2 weeks later to follow up on the quote. And if you follow up on things, people are more likely to go with you. You can automate, like a week before the event, send out a thing so they can pay. After the event, you can send out something that says thank you. You know, if you have a program or some way that you can incorporate reviews from Google and Facebook right onto your Facebook page, that can be automated. There's rental programs that will automate. I just don't have it because I chose to buy this one thing, and it doesn't have that kind of stuff.
That's the way I'd want to go. Renting those programs are expensive. They're good. If you have a crazy large business, you just got to do what you got to do. But I try to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, I think of it as over a year, I'm going to pay $3,000, and the next year I'm going to pay $3,000, and like if I just buy this one for $1,000, I just have it. Sure, it doesn't send the invoice automatically, but we're checking in with the customer anyways on Sunday before the event. So, no, that I didn't mean to click on that. Personal question: what's your full-time job?
Well, I'd probably say rental, but I also do construction. I'm a finished carpenter, so actually I make a lot of farm tables for our business. Yeah, so that's really helped out a lot. I don't want to do it anymore, but with COVID, it stopped.
Right. But I mean, if you just entirely went to rental stuff, you could build a lot of your own stuff for the high end things.
That's exactly what we do. Yeah. And what we would do, and if I had more time, I'd be building a lot more, because it's cheap to build stuff and they rent for good money. So.
Right. My friend, his father works for him, and his father was a carpenter, and they build custom things all the time. They built like a custom cedar bar and a cedar back bar and this and that. And I think they charge like 3 times the amount that it costs, to build it, to rent it that one time.
Yeah, we build, like some of our tables we build for about $100. We rent them for $100. You get your money back one time. I really, really focus on stuff that I get our money back as quickly as possible.
Right.
So, yeah.
Have you built a round sweetheart farm table?
I have not, but it's not actually difficult to do.
Right. I think that would be a big thing. I need to get one. I can't build
we
that
have
well,
one.
but you do?
Yeah, we have one. We have a round 36-inch sweetheart table, and it rents out all the time for $79, and it's fantastic.
Is it one you put a linen on, or is it like a nice rustic farm table?
Nice rustic farm table.
Okay, so I'm correct. If I had one of those, I think it would go out often.
All the time. Yeah, of course it would. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you definitely get one.
So I'm going to stop taking questions for anyone who. There was a lot of questions. I think this was my best. You must know a lot of people. Are you on? I see you on the Facebook groups all the time, but this is the most people who's watched at one time.
I have a big mouth. It goes around.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I see you comment all the time, and like when I make a post, you usually like it or comment or something. I know your name. I just never saw your face, obviously.
But my name's not hard to forget for you.
No, definitely not. But I just want to end with one question. It can be multi-layered. For someone just starting their business, what's your biggest piece of advice, whether something to do or not to do?
I would say find stuff that you love. Like, find things that you're interested in. You may not be interested in every aspect of the business that you need to be in, but like I really love like farm tables, and I like getting vintage glass and making a deal. So it becomes not work for me. It becomes fun. If you can make your job fun, it's not work, and you'll always be happy. Whether you're making money or not making money. I think that's the biggest. Once when it becomes a job, and some days you're gonna have times like that where it's just a job, but when it's consistently just a job, you're not going to be happy. If you're not happy, your clients aren't going to be happy. Your workers aren't going to be happy. I would say that's probably the biggest thing is to really find something that you're passionate about and do that.
Right. That is very good advice. And you may have another income source. Make some farm tables to sell.
Yeah, I've been requested for that. Yeah.
Do you make them with legs that like fold somehow so that you don't have to attach the legs each time?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It's key. I was on a job once. I only had 10 tables, and the other company only had 10 or something. They needed 20. But theirs, they had a bolt, 4 bolts into each leg. And They were on their 8th table, and we got 10 tables off the truck and set up before they finished their last 2 tables where the legs fold.
Way too long. Yeah, no thanks. Yeah.
But yes, thank you for being on, and everyone, thank you for all the questions. And if we missed them, I mean, they just kept going and whatever. We may have to do a follow-up one with you.
That'd be good.
But everyone, thank you. And if you haven't already subscribed, if you're a Facebook person, go over to my YouTube thing and hit subscribe. And, you know, I don't normally ask for this stuff because I hate this kind of shit. But hey, give it a thumbs up. Someone tells me it's good for the YouTube channel.
I love your channel. I do. It's a good, you know, what's really good is my wife and I will watch it, and, you know, just things that go on, and she'll be like, oh yeah, that's just like what happened with us back then. You know, it's great. We love it. And we really like, you're a nice guy. We can tell you're a caring guy. You just like people, which is good.
Yeah, I just like doing this. Like when competitors come to my warehouse to like rent something, I'm like, oh, did you see this? Like this will make your life go faster, and this and that and that. I'm like, you should make lights like this. Actually, I shouldn't be telling you that stuff.
You being that way has helped me become friends with a lot of rental companies in my area. Just, hey, do you want to come see this? Do you want to borrow this? How can I help you? Because it comes around. It goes around.
You have to. In normal businesses, it's like your competition, but like why are you going to lose a $5,000 job because you don't have 100 chairs because you're not friends with the other rental company?
Yep.
So like, you have to, and they're going to use you as well.
And it's weird trying to make friends with your competitors, but if you can, it's good, because it's just nice. Because, you know, there's certain things that we won't do because we know it's going to hurt our friends, and we just try to work together, which is good.
I said that was the last question, but Randy must know something I don't know. Are you doing a horse trailer?
I want to. That. I just don't have the time to do it right now. But yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, he just got one, and it looks in great condition.
Nice.
My view on it is I only have one, and it's going out quite a bit. COVID hit, and it didn't go out as much as it was going to. Some people canceled, but it still paid for itself in the first year. But it's a thing. If I have one, and Randy has one, and you have one, and a bunch of these people have one, and they're at a wedding, then the next bride sees it and they want it. Yes. Like some people are like, "Oh, don't let out the secret," and it's like, no, let out the secret, because then all these people see it, and then they'll want it for theirs.
Yeah, it's true.
Let the secret go, and then everyone will make more money. Yeah. But so don't go anywhere when I end the broadcast. That's usually we can get a chance to talk. But everyone, thank you very much, and we may do a follow-up with Adam and Adam again.
Sounds good. A&A.
All right, guys, have a good night.